Game Changers Investor Summit 2019. I'm Liberty here with Frank from Crescent Ventures. Is it?
Crescent Housing.
Crescent Housing. Could you introduce yourself and explain a bit more about the company?
I could. Nice to be here, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Crescent Housing started like 4 years ago when I started thinking about the invention. Because we wanted to do something with the plastic waste worldwide. And how could we actually do something about the plastic waste? And then it kind of dawned to me, let's pair it with another huge worldwide problem. Let's pair it with the growing population, the world growing population, it's now 7.6 billion. In 2050, it will be 9.4, if I remember correctly, and about in 2100, it will be about 11 billion people. And already today we see people live in shanty towns. They don't have much life prospect. We see people migrating. We see huge amount of refugees, 80 million today, internally and externally. Let's pair these two problems. Let's use the plastic waste to create better living conditions for these. And that's how it started, creating this, or doing the patent, the structural patent, which is the basis of Crescent Housing today.
And so what does the process look like from sourcing the plastic that's been recycled to actually building the homes for these people?
Our biggest, largest part of it is what we call affordable housing. It takes local waste, recycle it, plastic waste. We sort all waste into different fractions, and then we take out the plastic, sort it, regrind it, and granulate it, and then we create the building material we need. This will happen locally. It will employ people from gathering their waste, to sorting it, to recycle it, to make the building elements, and to build the houses themselves. So it creates a lot of impact locally, because that's what the thing is. You take the waste, you build houses, and you make local empowerment. You make people's lives better. That's the main thing. That has to be the drive, because it couldn't be something that we as a Western company comes to an African country you should do this.
Exactly.
We couldn't enforce it. They have to live it, and they have to see that they makes changes in their life, in their economy, in their children's future. That's what it's all about. That's what Crescent Housing is. And that's why I'm I actually love my company, and I love the possibility it has. So, and that's why we have gotten so much interest from governments in African countries, from the UN, from everybody that's seen it. Even here, they've made a lot of interest. And I guess that's why I'm here talking to you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I see so much potential with this for solving a lot of different problems. But in terms of the housing, when it goes from being plastic waste to being recycled to the material, what type of material is this, and how does it last against different conditions?
75% of all plastic material we can use for the building structure itself, the different part of the structure. The other 25% we cannot use as building material. We will use as energy to run the entire cycle. So you're actually 100% recycled. The entire process is we're very focused on circular economy. It has to be circular. You shouldn't leave any waste back. You're going to use all waste, and you're going to leave a clean environment. And the energy not used into the process, you can get into the grid where there's no because in most African countries today, there's really a power shortage. And what was the other part of the question again?
So what would this housing look like, and how long would it last?
Yeah, the elements. The affordable housing,
Yeah.
we have tested it for like 50 years, so which is the standard.
Yeah.
It would last longer because it's plastic. And the thing is, the really nice thing about it, when, let's say you tear down a building quality because there's better living, there's happened some economically progress, so they will build the town up from scratch again. And take the plastic, regrind it, build new houses. So it's circular again, or you
Yeah.
can take out the energy.
Yeah.
So it's actually just new material for either energy or new buildings. The other part on the other end, which is the refugee shelters, of what we call the pop-up shelters, it has a lifespan because it's built different. It's easy to put up. It takes more pounding. You said it. It's tested for like 20 years, which is, when you think about, that's what the UN fell for. Average stay for a refugee in a refugee camp is actually 12 years.
Wow.
The tents that you're using today, in the specs is that it should have a lifespan of 1 year, at least 1 year. But field experience tells us that it has a lifespan of less than 6 months.
Wow.
Each tent is $1,500 US. So our shelters, which is can withstand any condition because it's insulated in a hard shell with lockable doors, solar powered. You have a home, not a tent. You have a home where you can feel safe and secure. It has way less cost during that lifespan, the 20-year lifespan, than it would be with just tents. So you have, that's the range from 20 years from our pop-up shelters or refugee shelters to at least 50 years on our affordable housing.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a good idea. It's like, I can't believe no one's done it yet. So I assume there's been challenges along the way to get to where you are now. Or what has the process been like from when you came up with this idea to being here today?
From the start, it was actually make it strong enough. We have it tested for like 3 storage now, with it in its simplest way. It's strong as any other, 6 times stronger than the way we build today here in Norway, with this use of studs. And the thing is actually meeting people, when people, normal people, that could use that term, they're a bit plastic.
Yeah.
But actually, when we met people who are situated in countries where they need housing, where they have a huge plastic waste problem, they see it as an opportunity. Engineers, other engineers, SINTEF, this is great because plastic houses is actually not a new thing. Back in the 50s they started thinking about, this is such a great material, let's build houses out of it.
In which country, or was it everywhere?
England, US,
Really?
even Russia.
Wow.
But it kind of never caught on.
Yeah.
But our approach is different because we're not using virgin material,
Yeah.
we're using waste. So I think that's what caught on. You're using that huge menacing problem to solve another huge problem.
Yeah.
So, and it's really good. That which is a driving force, the circular economy and the impact it does for down on a personal level and on a community level.
So it's clearly such a great idea and company. What is the growth that you're expecting? Like, where do you see this being applied? How quickly do you think that it's going to catch on?
We are doing our first pilots. We put a few houses up already for ourselves. First house, 2 people. We spent 1 day to put up the house.
Wow.
It was before lunch we put up the walls, after lunch we put up the roofs. It was a 60 square meter
Wow.
house. We are, right now we have pilot project going to Africa, which is our TCMSUs. Also it's based on the pop-up shelter or the refugee shelter, which is cooling for medicine and food in rural areas. That's the first approach to the market with the UN. Right now we have a meeting with, in a month, the project manager for the low-cost housing in the UN comes from Nairobi to visit us to have a chat about how to implement. So with the right investor, we could actually apply this really soon, because that's another thing about it. It's made to be easy to do. It's simple design. It's easy to do, easy to manufacture. That's been a basis of it. So actually, the world is, we're not thinking locally, we're thinking global.
Yeah.
And right now we are focusing especially in Central Africa and West Africa, which we are in dialogue with several governments.
Yep.
So it can grow pretty fast,
Yeah.
pretty soon.
Yeah, and just a final question building off that. How is an event like this important to your growth and also for other companies who are hoping to grow internationally in Norway?
Let's start with what my experience is. I come here rushing from meetings in Germany and the UN in Copenhagen, and I meet people that are forward, think ahead, that understand engineering, that understands inventions, being forward thinking, and you meet people actually here they're looking for you. You don't have to go out there searching for the capital you need to actually grow. For a good idea, it's only a good idea if you don't get the tools to grow.
Yeah.
And that's what this is for me. This is the tools we need. And we met with a lot of person who's been interested in our company, both investors and people who actually are known to make change, that want to take part in this journey.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what most of the companies here is finding. That's
Yeah.
why we're here, and that's what I hope most will find.
Yeah. Great. Thank you so much for taking an interview with us, and I hope the rest of your time here is as productive.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.